pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is Tuesday, August 13, 2024. Time being 5:30 p.m. The meeting of the Greensburg Board of Works is called to order. At this time, Amy, would you please call the roll?
Jamie King.
Here.
Lauren Huber. Here. Robin Meyer.
Here.
Lynn Teddy.
Here.
Mayor Joshua Marsh.
Here. You all should have received a copy of the minutes from July 9th. Any edits, additions, or corrections? If not, those will stand approved as presented. There being no old business, we'll skip right to Matt Mason with the Veritas Group with his update from the Municipal Complex. Matt, as much as we enjoy seeing you, this might be the last time.
I'm hoping so.
Right. So welcome, and why don't you tell us the good news about what's going on out there?
Yes, will do. Good evening. Technology. There we go. So we are at the point where we are getting very close to the end for both the municipal, the street department, as well as the fire station. Starting with the site work, that work is wrapped up and is complete. Got the bare shell extension in, all the curbs, all the asphalt paving is in, the striping is in. A lot of the landscaping is also in, as well as with the seeding. A lot of that has been done. They had to reseed that would be the east portion there, where you see a lot of the straw. There was a water main break. A lot of the seed got washed away, but they did get that back down here this week, and they're currently watering that to get that to take place or take root. As far as the street department, from the last update, really all the furniture is complete and installed. The generator's been installed. All the owner furnished equipment is also installed at this point. And we have received a certificate of occupancy for that building on July 12th. As you remember, the solar panels would be located on top of this building, and that work is looking to start in the fall. A couple other photos from inside. Again, all the furniture has been installed there. It's looking very nice. At the fire station, right now there are currently 2 outstanding work items that are needing to be wrapped up. First one being the window shades, and those are sunshades on the outside of the building that are metal. That material was received yesterday, and they actually started the installation of that today, so they should be hopefully wrapping that up this week. The generator, also there were some components of the generator that were outstanding. Those components have been delivered, and now the startup team for the generator is scheduled for August 23rd. So everything has been installed with the generator. It's ready to go. It just needs to have the proper startup. As far as the interior goes, we have gone through a pretty extensive punch list. We had a lot of items on it, unfortunately, but have really worked through that and whittled that down to we've got about 95% complete through there. The other portion that's been a hang up and a headache has been the elevator installation. That's another item where there were some missing components to that elevator, and if you don't know a lot about the elevators, but this one is a machine room list, so the controls and components are like in the jam, so that prevented them from finishing up some walls and everything there. Again, those last components were received today and installed today as well, so that elevator has now been completed as of today, and they are working to schedule the state elevator inspection. The project completion piece of it, the owner furniture, a lot of that has been installed and is going in, as you'll see in a couple photos here coming up. And then we're working to get the radio testing for the ERS, APS That's the alerting system. Get all that tested next week as well. So spoke with the contractor, Meyer and ADJOURN, before this meeting and wanted to confirm with them about going for the final inspections. They did indicate they are going to call for those inspections tomorrow. So most likely, hopefully, with the inspector's schedule, that final inspection can get scheduled for Thursday of this week to go for a certificate of occupancy for that building as well. A couple photos from the inside. Apologize, that middle picture there's a little dark, but that's from the kitchen looking into the day room. You got the apparatus bay on the right, and one of the offices, again, furniture moving in there. As far as budget goes, again, we started the 19.9. We've had the one revision for the street department asphalt solar panels at Bear Shell that added to 775, and so far we're now just holding that $20.6 million, and that remains unchanged. Fire this up real quick. And gives you overall site view. All the fencing has been installed again. A lot of the grass is starting to come in. There's still some patchy areas, but we would expect that, and that would all fill in. Overall, the building is looking great, looking really nice. Again, just walked through it this morning, or just before this meeting. It really is coming together pretty nice. And as you can see, you kind of see on the top of that lower roof, those red items, those are the sunshades. They had gotten those shaken out, delivered yesterday, and they're just kind of laying them out, ready to get installed. That's all I got. Any questions?
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the help and the hard work.
For sure.
While we're on this topic, the good news is I think we are going to set September 14th as our open house for the public. We will start putting that information together, publicizing times, etc., how that's going to work. So that is our target date. So please hold your calendar for that. It will be a public open house, so anyone is welcome to attend. More information will be forthcoming about exact details. Up next, Melissa Brown with the Caleb Brown 5Ks here. Good evening, Ms. Brown.
Good evening, everybody.
It's hard to believe it's this time of the year again.
It comes around way too fast. We can't stay on top of it. So the good news is I saw that it said in the agenda that we had road closure requests, but we actually don't have any road closures. I don't know, I think I have 6. This is just the route. I don't know what you guys may or may not have seen from what I sent earlier. These are just the street names.
Thank you.
Okay, but we do have the resource officers from the school. Brandon Bridges is helping with that, so there will be one of those at every main road so traffic can be halted and there'll be protection there. Plus we'll have others there to clearly marked, vested, so that they can also help with traffic on more of the smaller, not used roads for those. And then also, she asked about insurance, and I did state that the waiver is at the bottom of each page as well. So, and I have a copy of that if anyone would want to see it, and that's just on the registration page. So we are just asking to borrow those roads for the purpose of doing the Caleb Brown Memorial Walk to help with the special needs in Olympian and Decatur County for the year of 2024.
What date is that?
But September 21st.
And then it's an
So it's during, in part of the Fall Festival. We start on the square and end on the square, and then we do have a small superhero fun run around the square. And wonderfully that the square will be back open completely for that, so.
I'm optimistic it will be.
Yeah,
So,
it looks like it.
yeah,
It's,
we're on.
there's flowers there now, so surely.
Zach always says you can't pay him enough to say it's ahead of schedule. 8 a.m. start time, correct, for the
Yes.
5K?
Yes.
No full street closures, and how many years this is?
This is the sixth, no, yes, the fifth. This is the fifth year. Fifth year we've done this. The routes had to change a few times based on some bridge closings and some different things like that, but we're back to the standard route that we've used in the past. So we will be cleared out no later than 10 o'clock, so 2.5 hours, 7:30 to 10.
Chiefs, any issues? Perfect. Board, any
How many are
questions?
you expecting?
Right now, I think we have a total of 10 signed up, so we're hoping to raise that. Last previous years, it's been between 50 and 100 to actually do the race, so,
Yeah, it's always a really good group
yeah.
in the morning down there.
Yep.
Anything else? If not, take a motion to approve the use of facilities.
I'll move we approve the use of facilities for the Caleb Brown Memorial 5K.
Seconded.
Motion's been made by Robin, second by Lauren. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Have a great
Yep, good
evening.
luck.
Thank you.
Chief McNeely, conditional offers. Offer.
Afternoon, Board. You received a letter from me by email and then in writing today. This is in response to one of our candidates that we had previously given a conditional offer. There was an issue that came up in that process. That conditional offer was withdrawn. And we had our fourth candidate that we interviewed back in June. And we feel comfortable with that candidate moving forward if you guys do.
Yeah, I would move we provide a conditional offer for candidate number 3.
Okay. Second. Motion's made by Glenn, second by Jamie. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, perfect, thanks. Chief Sturmer, you've got a couple items. First up is promotion.
Yeah, good evening, Board. Just a few, or just an administrative item here to get a couple individuals their first-class firefighter pay. In the memo, it stated that firefighter Ethan Steele is seeking retroactively back to July 13th for his first-class firefighter pay from probationary pay. He has successfully completed all his requirements. And then probationary firefighter Ethan Rittberger successfully completed all of his probationary requirements, and that was effective August 10th. So moving those two individuals to the rank of private, which is first-class firefighters, and to be able to adjust their pay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the promotions and the pay back to their anniversary date.
Seconded.
Motion's made by Jamie, second by Lauren. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, a couple other items. Selling of equipment.
Next, you should have received a memo from me in relation to the proposal of selling of surplus equipment that is located within the old fire station. Before you is a memo of a proposed plan to distribute that equipment to city, and then opening it up in a closed auction type or silent auction type style to the county fire departments in Decatur County. Basically, as we get closer to our move-in date and we begin to do that, we're not at that point yet, but we will be shortly, and I hope to be able to push this through and get started at least before the next time we meet. So trying to proactively do a few of these things to get that done. I'll take any questions you have on the policy or the process as described, and then if you have any suggestions or changes. If not, I guess a motion of support to move forward with that, and then the real motion would come once all the prices and the spreadsheets are in to distribute that equipment.
Seems like a reasonable process to me in terms of offering items for our own departments in use, and then the county fire departments and so on. So yeah, I see no reason to quibble with what you proposed. I don't know, I'm open to other thoughts as to if there's a better way to do it.
Agree.
I'll take that as support.
Consensus, right.
Consensus for the process. And then once you get a kind of bid sheet from the items, then we'll approve those individual items. Okay? And then your next item is the surplus equipment.
So attached to that, or to the separate memo was given to the surplus of equipment. The New Point Community Volunteer Fire Department approached us about potentially purchasing one of our reserve engine at the price listed there below. We have talked with Council Stevens about if this is allowed to do without sealed bid, and it is. There is state statute listed in your memo for me that gives permission to be able to do that. Currently at this time, we're not able to complete that sale. We have some issues with our frontline ladder truck that has necessitated the need for one of the reserves. We are using engine 1 at this time, but as outlined in the memo, we have other apparatus that can perform the same functions as of the engine that is of potential surplus.
Oh, the price seemed to be appropriate in terms of what they're offering. And
Correct.
So,
So just before we get too far, your intention is not necessarily to have this approved because you're currently using it. You want us to just consider this in the future?
If we can, once the ladder is back in service, then that could be sold. We can either table this, or we can approve this pending the ladder truck back in service.
when do you expect the ladder truck to be back?
Within the next 2 weeks. Parts are on order, should be here. All the repairs are being done in-house. So we should have a 2-week or less turnaround.
I don't see any reason why we couldn't allow you to make that judgment when the ladder truck's repaired and operational and it's all satisfactory, that you could execute this. As far as I'm concerned, I don't see a reason we need to hold up for another month. I would move approval of the sale of the reserve vehicle or fire truck pending completion of repair and operational satisfaction for the ladder truck.
I'll second.
Jamie, you have a question?
Yeah, I just got a question about where the funds go when we do sell it. Can we direct, well, I don't know, we can direct them to basically I want to put them back in the fund to help pay for either the ladder truck or the rescue truck.
If we can do cum capital, that would probably be to at least return that vehicle purchase. And I would assume that's a revenue account that we can do that, correct?
You want to amend it to say the fire cum cap?
I didn't make the motion.
Yeah, I would amend it to include that the proceeds go into the fire cumulative fund.
You okay with that as a second? Second. Okay. You go with that, Amy? Good?
Yeah, that.
Okay. All those in favor of the modified motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Perfect.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tree Commissioner Coster Camper.
Good evening, Board. Back in the early spring, we were awarded funding for Phase 4 of the Park Road project as it continues to develop. Since that money has been awarded, we have been following the NDOT guidelines. We have been through the selection process for a preliminary engineering consultant. That was concluded, and we have completed the negotiating on fees, appropriate expenses that will be incurred for that development. It's a little different this time. We are also including right-of-way up to the point of contact. NDOT has changed their policy, and to keep these projects moving, they're letting us do the appraisal work, the reappraisal work, and having that all prepared so when we finally clear the environmental hurdle, we can immediately start the acquisition of property and keep a closer timeline on our projects. anyhow, you should have a copy of the draft contract. We did receive approval of that contract today from the Indiana Department of Transportation. So what I'm asking is approval of the contract and the authorization for the mayor to execute that contract so that we can get it back for the signatures required from the consultant and submit it to NDOT for appropriation of funding as needed.
This does fall within what we had projected during the whole project, so.
It's really close. I mean, they're gonna cover 80% of about 99.2% of the project cost. So we're really, really close to being what we forecast a year ago.
Anything else for Mark on that? If not, take a motion to approve the contract with USI as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Glenn, second by Lauren. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director of Public Projects, Zach Weary. You've got a couple items for us.
Good evening, board. You should have in your file the change order 1 for CCMG 2023-2. That is a change order for electrical work on the project. This kind of came up during Washington Street's design phase of we want to make sure we have enough outlets, receptacles, options for any festival events that are held on the square for food trucks, vendors, everybody. So essentially this change order is upgrading the electrical panel at the service and running more wiring to have more plug options for vendors and food trucks.
Any questions for Zach on that? We have the funds available to do it as part of the project too.
Yes. I would move approval.
Motion's made by Glenn,
I'll second it.
second by Lauren. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, now how about an update on Franklin Street?
So if you've driven past there, you've seen the landscaping is in. That is all complete. Sod is installed on the courthouse side. Tomorrow they're scheduled to start permanent striping and crosswalk installation. And that'll go through probably the end of the week. And then next week will be signal loops. And we're getting really close to being done. With that change order you just approved, it's already in the works, but we are waiting for that larger electrical panel to show up. That is scheduled to be here by the end of the month. But just so if anybody gets any questions, if we do open the road and the lights don't work, there is a reason for it.
But you could open the road before that. Just
We're
finish.
not gonna sit there and wait on the electrical panel to show up. The
September
majority of
1st.
the work is done, it'll get opened up
September 1st.
by September 1st.
Any other questions for Zach on that?
Great.
Okay. How about an update on 24-1?
2024-1, as the bids came in at the last meeting, we did award that to Schutte Excavating. And they are under contract as of now for 2024-1. I have not pushed that project yet any further. Make sure we get Franklin Street done and wrapped up, and then starting in September, we'll start doing pre-construction meetings and getting scheduled. But tentatively, we still are on the schedule to start Washington Street probably in October.
Okay. Questions on that? How about 24-2?
So at the end of July, Mark and I submitted the application for CCMG 2024-2 after the Washington Street project came in under budget. We still had almost $600,000 available for CCMG funding for the year. We discussed with NDOT that we could apply for that pending the signed contract of 2024-1, and they said we could. So in the next month or two, we'll find out if we get those funds. We put in for 11 streets, roughly 30 blocks to get repaved, sidewalks, curbs. All the uses of CCMG's intention of making our streets better. So I think roughly September, October, we should hear on whether we get that funding or not. And then we'll put that contract out to bid by November
For next spring then.
for next spring construction.
Questions? Thank you to you and Mark for both all your work on all these projects. Okay, I've got the list of stuff for the wastewater plant, so I'm going to try to stumble through some of that. So the O'Mara Pay app is the remainder of the Vine Street project. This is wrapped up and done, so I believe this would be their retainage that they continue to hold, or that we continue to hold with authorized payment of that. I think, Donna, it's in the bills, right? So that will be in your claims, but it's in there separate. Any questions? So I don't think that necessarily needs an action. The same is for the Vine Street Pay App 3 and 4. So these come from Johanneman Excavating, which did the work. Again, this is wrapping up that project, getting it all finished and finalized. And 3 and 4 are also in the bills. So those would be approved through that process too. Any questions on those? The generator update is also in your bills, but it's worth noting separately. This is the one that's from Cummins. Sales and service, the paperwork in your file says estimate, but it is not an actual estimate. It's actually a bill. That was an accounting issue that Donna had worked through with them because we are not an existing customer with them. They couldn't give us an invoice number, so that's why it says estimate. Doesn't really matter. Point being that we had a fairly catastrophic issue with our generator that actually runs a vast majority of the wastewater plant. They were called in an emergency capacity to come and fix it the next day, and they did. So that bill is also in your claims, but it's relatively large, so we wanted to, big one, so we wanted to be sure that that was addressed. Any questions on that? We will come back to generators in a moment. The on-call service contract with Strand, this is something that we do every so often. I don't know the last time we did it. It was maybe a year or two ago. This is sort of the same thing we talked about like last month with Burke in relation to our stormwater and MS4 requirements and permitting. This is sort of an evergreen contract with them. It allows them to answer the phone, talk with us, help us out, and it's for $30,000. It does not have a expiration date. It's just sort of a bill down account. We've had one with them for years in this capacity, and every so often we renew it. We have no reason, in my opinion, not to renew it. I would encourage approval of that, unless you have, it's pretty simple, it's one page. Okay, is there a motion to approve the Strand on-call services agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Robin, seconded by Jamie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you. And then the final one is this one is an estimate. It's sort of a quote for continuing ongoing generator preventative maintenance inspections, those kinds of items provided by the Cummins company. This agreement is a planned maintenance. It's 3 years, and they've given us a price there for the 3 years. I don't have a secondary quote for that service. I don't know who does our water companies, but I can find out that information too. We obviously have generators at lift stations, at the plants, at different locations across the city. If you would like for me to, I just didn't get one last week, but if you would like for me to get another one, I can do that as well.
Yes, I think we need to, particularly given the size of the bill or just to repair that generator. And the problem that a down generator creates, it seems prudent to make sure that we have maintenance and checking on a regular basis. Not that there was any negligence necessarily on our part, but having somebody that has more experience with that kind of thing might be helpful to help educate our people as well. So, and I know the generator was an old one, and therefore I'm not suggesting there was a problem with what we were doing or not doing. It's just that I think having somebody with expertise review this periodically seems to make sense to me. Notwithstanding, it's not inexpensive, I understand that, but.
Any other comments on that? So Glenn, did I hear you imply you'd like to see another?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to see that, and then with some comparisons of what our contracts are for similar kinds of things with the water plant, so.
I think Glenn's made a motion to table this topic.
Second.
Is second by Jamie. Any other? All those in favor of tabling, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay. As a reminder, next week is heavy trash. So that will get started on Monday. Good luck to our teams and crews as they tackle that. It's already here. Anything else? You'll have a copy of the bills. Make a motion to pay those, if you would so move, please.
So moved.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Second by Jamie. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. If not, take a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Yes, Glenn's on it. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.